so out of my comfort zone. Most of you know I'm not a public speaker, I'm a third grade teacher. So, teacher friends, what do third graders do when the teacher's talking? Talk, what else? Don't look, sit back in your chair, whatever. So feel free to act like a third grader and make me feel a little more comfortable. Thank you so much though to everybody for being here today. I'm looking around and I see literally every realm of my life and I'm truly touched. Thank you. I can't begin to tell you what this award means to me. I'm humbled and honored to be recognized by the place I love so much, the place that helped shape me. I'd like to say I'm speechless, but I'm obviously here giving a speech, so that doesn't really work. Can you guys hear me? Am I loud enough? My teacher voice? I did, what? A little louder? Okay. Go ahead and do that too, because that's what third graders do. So I did, I'm a much better writer than I am a speaker, so I did write my notes, and I am going to be reading from them, which I also tell my third graders not to do. But I had so much I want to say, and I want to make sure I don't leave anything out. So today I'm going to talk about three things behind me: love, loss, and leadership. I will explore how each has had an impact on me, and how each is a central part of my journey and what has become my personal mission, which is to build character, a giving spirit, and kindness in my students. First, let's talk about love. I love Linfield. I loved it from the minute I stepped onto this campus in 1995, and I love it even more today because I realized with every passing year just how much of who I am was influenced by my Linfield experience. Being a student here helped me become the teacher I am today and the person I strive to be. There's a saying at Linfield, an old English proverb that goes, "Great oaks from little acorns grow." I began my Linfield experience as a youthful tiny acorn. My days were filled with classes, friends, sorority life, study abroad, student teaching, and many things in between. Until finally that little acorn became a still growing oak. My oak tree has many branches, some of which were formed at Linfield, some that grew after, and many that are still growing. I'll never forget that first day of college as my parents were pulling out and I was a little teary. I felt an arm on my shoulder and turned around to see a cute boy escorting me back into the dorm. I knew then it was going to be a great experience. I instantly became friends with my small dorm, which was integral in my Linfield experience. We bonded so quickly, which made the transition to college easier. I can't talk about my Linfield friends without acknowledging those of you here today. It means the world to me to have you here, and I can't thank Linfield enough for bringing us together. We all share something special, and I'm so incredibly proud of each of you guys. You're so successful and smart, and I feel fortunate to know you, to have you as my confidants, and to call you my friends. It wasn't until I was preparing for today that I realized that so many of my Linfield friends have careers that fall under the helper umbrella. Many of you are spending your days making the lives of others better. That says a lot about you and your Linfield experience. My friends most certainly fill a huge branch on my oak tree. I love Linfield for bringing us together. While at Linfield, I took many challenging and interesting classes that not only inspired me, but consistently confirmed my path of becoming an educator. I had incredible professors along the way, which of course is another branch on my tree. Having small classes at Linfield made it easy to make personal connections with my professors, which in turn helped me take full advantage of my education. My two favorite professors are here today, Doug Cruikshank and Bob McCann. Not only did you two teach me how to be a great teacher, you were phenomenal role models, and I always felt comfortable and confident talking to you about anything. I am grateful to still have friendships with both of you today. I may not remember all of the actual lessons you taught us, but I certainly remember the way you treated us, which is how I would hope my students remember me as well. But I do, Bob, remember, and I still brag about, getting 100% on all of my country quizzes. And Doug, you taught us about base 5, and I was like, what the heck is this? When will I ever use it? And I have. 20 years in the classroom, both of you, as well as Debbie Schrapel. Where did she go? Debbie Schrapel was my mentor teacher when I was student teaching, also a Linfield grad. The three of you have come to my mind often, and I can never truly thank you for instilling a passion for education in me. I love Linfield for providing us with exceptional classes, professors, and mentors like you three. That was at Bob's retirement. Being in a sorority here at Linfield also helped shape me into who I am and is another branch on my oak. While studying abroad, I had this crazy idea to try to be the FISIG president and make some much needed positive changes. Although I had held leadership positions in the past, this was way out of my comfort zone and something I never imagined doing, especially from halfway across the world. Thanks to Jamie, I think you read my speech. I took the leap and it paid off. Being in that role definitely helped me prepare for teaching. If you can lead 100 18 to 22-year-olds, how hard can it be? Great. Thankfully, we had Deanna over here, our superstar advisor, helping us through it. You've always been one of my biggest cheerleaders and constantly have given me confidence and advice. And seeing all my FISIG sisters here today reminds me that sorority sisters really are friends for life. I love Linfield for supporting Greek life. As I mentioned, I studied abroad in England at the beginning of my junior year. All through college, I was learning to spread my wings and become my true self. But it was a huge step for a homebody like me to study abroad. The experience changed me in so many ways and is a big branch on my oak tree. One of the reasons I was drawn to Linfield was the study abroad program, and I'm so grateful I took advantage of it. I still sometimes wonder how we survived those 5 months, hauling a backpack around Europe for 30 days, living on bread and apples, figuring out how to figuring out how to buy something or find a place to stay without speaking the language, being away from home during the holidays, and dealing with a unique host family situation. There were times it was difficult for sure, but in exchange, we got to explore 14 countries, visit places we'd only seen in books before, spend New Year's in Spain. Do you remember that? No place to stay, so sleep on a bench in Spain for New Year's. Hop on a train and go to another country in hours. We rode a carriage through Brussels, saw the Eiffel Tower, explored German street festivals, met some really cool people in Switzerland, took a ferry from Greece to Italy, saw tons and tons of castles, and did and saw a million things, and all of that was considered school for 5 months. We took a few classes. I couldn't have done it without Michelle and Nicole, the other one in the picture by my side. Studying abroad is an experience that still comes up often, even in my daily life, even after all these years. Being able to see the world and learn about other cultures is invaluable and life-changing. I love Linfield for allowing me the opportunity to study abroad. I can't talk about how much I love Linfield without also thanking my parents for all their help, not just when I was a student there, but through all the years since and before. Most of you already know this, but I hit the jackpot with my parents. They're the... I want to cry, so I told them I'm not looking at them today. And there's my sweet grandma and my Hey, Grandma. I'm talking about how wonderful my parents are, Grandma. They're the kind of parents you can only hope to have, kind, funny, loving, and uber supportive. They've supported me in so many ways as I grew from the tiny acorn into a growing oak. It goes without saying that I wouldn't be who I am without my parents. I've said this many times, but I can't think of Linfield or even say the word Linfield without getting a giant smile on my face. I know many of you have similar experiences and feelings about this place, and it's probably safe to say we all love Linfield, right? My life after Linfield has revolved around third graders, the largest and sturdiest branch on my oak tree. Right now, I have an 24 energetic, as you can see, curious, sometimes challenging third graders. I want you to think about your third grade self for a minute. Think about your teacher, your classroom, maybe the trouble you got into. I know these girls got into some. So this was me on my first day of third grade. I did not get into trouble because I was way too scared. And then this is my third grade class. This cracked me up because if you can see, I wrote little notes like nice and pretty on my pretty and nice. Even then, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. 14 years later, on my 22nd birthday, Pete Miller hired me to teach third grade at Archer Glen Elementary in Sherwood. Pete is a Linfield alum and also a big part of the Linfield community. He couldn't be here tonight because he was at Parents Weekend with his daughter, who should be at Linfield but is in Colorado. And so I thought I'd just bring a picture of him. This was actually taken in San Francisco. I was with my dad at a work trip for my dad. We got off the bus in Union Square, turned the corner, and there was Pete Miller. Oh. And it's just a fun experience for both of us. At Archer Glen, I joined a fantastic team of teachers who I admire greatly and have become my best friends. Thank you, Elizabeth and Beth, for being here. My job wouldn't be nearly as much fun without you guys. And here's a picture of my first class. I ended the year with 30 students, and then they're like 28 now, by the way. I ended the year with 30 students, some in special education, tag, and English as a second language, and I definitely had some troublemakers, and if Pete were here, he could definitely point those out. I was hired late summer to take the place of a beloved teacher who many parents had requested, so you can imagine what they thought when they met me. I was told I looked to be about 12. And one mom told me early in the year, so we were all talking at Sherry's about you the other day and trying to figure out how old you are. Are you 18? Are you 22? That was just the beginning of parent gossip. All my teacher friends really understand. I taught third grade at Archer Glen for 10 years and then helped open a new school across town called Edie Ridge Elementary, and this is my 10th year teaching third grade there. My principal this year is Miranda Johnson back there, also a Linfield alum. There's one thing I know about Sherwood, and that is that they love Wildcats. So I have a lot of Linfield alum coworkers here today, including Debbie Nelson, who introduced me, and a lot of the back row over there. As I've told Pete many times, and I told him just this week, that I'm forever grateful he took a chance on this brand new teacher back in 1999, because I can't imagine teaching anywhere else. As a teacher, there are many things I'm required to teach, and many curriculum I'm required to follow. Our days are packed, but you wouldn't believe what third graders can do these days. We have high expectations, and the kids rise to them. Is that you back there, Sophia? My former student, now a Linfield freshman. There's one aspect of teaching that's optional, and it's one I've devoted my teaching life to instilling in my students. So we all know kids need to learn how to read, comprehend, write, do math, question, justify, collaborate, create, all the things and more that we did in school. But I also think they need to learn how to be good people, how to be kind, and how to be of service to others. My first few years of teaching, I was a pretty traditional teacher. I taught the curriculum, my students advanced, I grew and improved in my skills, and they did too. We did many fun projects and activities, and many great memories were made for both me and my students. I still keep in contact with a few students from those early days. In fact, 2 of my former students have third graders at my school this year. Oh. So yes, I do. It always does my heart good when they tell me some of the things they remember from third grade, and it means so much to me when they come back to visit, or come to my presentation, or send a graduation announcement. Thanks to social media, I'm able to watch many of them grow up right before my eyes, which is a huge reward. In those early years, I worked so hard to build my reputation and be a good teacher. Then on October 18th, 2003, something bad happened. Something that changed me forever. My little 5-year-old buddy, Michael, suddenly passed away while playing a soccer game. Everybody breathe, because I'm going to breathe. I had experienced more than my fair share of loss up until that point, but nothing can prepare you for losing someone so young. I had been Michael and his little brother Matthew's babysitter since they were babies, and everyone who knew me, many of you, knew who the boys were. I would give up my weekends to hang out with the boys. Michael always said I was his grill friend. I loved spending time with them, whether we were watching movies, playing board games, going to the park, drawing, making silly faces, eating French fries at McDonald's, or running around growling at each other because I was determined to teach them how to say girl. When Michael suddenly passed away, I experienced shock, sadness, anger, confusion, grief, and a deep need to do something to keep his memory alive and do something for others. You never fully recover from a tragedy like this, but being able to honor his legacy has helped the healing. The Michael Grimm Foundation was born soon after Michael died, and it was just the opportunity I needed to heal my heart and help others. While I didn't know it at the time, it was also the genesis of my mission to develop a sense of moral leadership and a commitment to do good in the world and to help inspire my eager 8-year-old philanthropists. We started collecting stuffed animals on Michael's birthday to donate to kids in the hospital. Michael always felt comforted by stuffed animals, so it was a no-brainer. The first year, it was just word of mouth amongst my friends. My staff in my class that year knew about Michael, so many of them participated as well. We donated around 500 stuffed animals that year to what was Emmanuel Children's Hospital, now Randall Children's Hospital. The next year, it got bigger, and I was able to get the whole school involved in the service project. My students helped by putting "With Love from Michael" stickers on the animals, and some older students helped with delivery. The program has grown and grown each year, and many years we've been the hospital's largest stuffed animal donors. We have drives now, not just at my school, but I've partnered with Sherwood High School, Sherwood Youth Football and Cheer, and this year I'm trying to get the whole community involved by having drop-off locations at many businesses in Sherwood. Each year I have students, usually former students who have shown an interest, help count and sticker the animals or help with delivery. Some years we've held sticker parties where they've come to count and sticker animals, as well as make cards, bracelets, and activity books for the kids in the hospital. One year I even had a student come back to me as a 4th grader to tell me she got one of Michael's animals, which was a full circle moment. As I mentioned, the Michael Grimm Foundation was the genesis of my mission to develop a sense of moral leadership. So what is a moral leader? I didn't know either until recently. My dad happened to read an article and sent it to me with a message that said, "This is you." So we all know what a leader is. It's someone who guides others by example. We know a leader has the ability to persuade others, and a good leader demonstrates integrity and confidence. Moral leader is a different kind of leadership. Rather than aspiring to be followed, moral leaders aim to serve. They might be helping at a homeless shelter or petitioning for a cause. Instead of showcasing their own skills, moral leaders tend to develop the capacities of others. They want others to do well. Anybody holding any position can be a moral leader, but such individuals are always characterized by a deep sense of ethics, are driven by core ideals, and are motivated by the pursuit of a higher purpose. Moral leaders have a "this is what I do" mentality, and were most likely inspired by another moral leader who set a good example of what a good person looks like. I know I personally have many moral leader role models in my life, many who are in the room tonight. Gotta make sure we're on. Moral leadership can't be taught with a lesson. There has to be an experience or an opportunity to be selfless and giving and compassionate. An opportunity to build character and feel the satisfactions of doing something for someone else without the need to be recognized. We see moral leaders doing things that may seem like they're sacrificing something, but to a moral leader it doesn't feel that way. It's just part of their identity. I've always told my students and the parents of my students that I believe my job is to not just educate them, but to also help them grow into kind human beings. My hope is to help shape them into moral leaders themselves. What do I do in my class to promote this? First, my classroom, there we go. My classroom is character trait focused. We have a motto, be wise, be kind, be true. And we discuss these traits often. Being kind is an expectation in my classroom. Each week we have a kindness challenge where they have a different act of kindness to try and complete by the end of the week. Simple things such as give someone a compliment, share something with a friend, smile at 5 people, or sit with someone new. In 2012, I developed kindness cards with my class, which we've been creating every year since. They make a pack of 10 cards with 1 act of kindness on each. Then they leave their pack somewhere for someone else to find. The person who finds the cards, picks an act of kindness to perform, writes us a note back, because it's a postcard, and sends it back to us so we can see where it landed. Then they leave the cards for someone else to find. These are some of the places that they've been found. The kids love getting the cards back, and they've even made it all over the US and to other countries. I'll let you look at that for a second while I take a drink. I also have a kindness bear who arrives in February, which is Kindness Month. Each morning, he shares a different act of kindness for the kids to do that day. Some are simple, some are more complex, and some involve doing things for the school, such as creating motivational signs or writing notes to the staff. In our class, we do what I call heart work. Whenever we do something for someone else without expecting anything in return, we call it heart work. Some examples would be writing letters to soldiers, making books for kids in Africa, collecting socks for Socktober, and last year we started Heart Work Buddies with Anasan. Wave your hand, another Linfield grad, co-worker with Anasan's class. One really fun thing we did was collect necessities to put together care bags for the homeless. We also learned about and made love rocks. My students know and hopefully understand the importance of doing good. In my 20 years of teaching, I've taught about 500 students. My goal would be that as each of those 500-ish students grow, the passion for doing good continues. Oh, that happens at school too. Even though it shouldn't, because they're 8. My goal would be that as each of those 500-ish students grow, the passion for doing good continues outside of my classroom, and they pass it on to others, creating a community full of moral leaders. Just this week, I was talking with my class about being kind and about how doing one kind thing could inspire someone else to do something kind, like the domino effect. And one of the kids said better than I could. He said, "It's kind of like it's contagious." My heart melted. I wanted to give some personal examples in addition to the Michael Grimm Foundation that I'm involved with that have helped develop a sense of moral leadership in myself. My hope in doing so is to not only share some of the great organizations out there that you may not be aware of, but to possibly encourage you to explore some ways to do good as well. I know many of you are involved with wonderful causes, and I'd love for all of us to be able to spread more goodness around, since we know it's contagious. Let's see. I'm on the board of directors for the Chelsea Hicks Foundation, which was started by another Linfield alum, Sabrina Prill. The foundation was started to honor her niece, Chelsea, who passed away at 5 from cancer. Chelsea used to love dress up, and it proved to be very therapeutic during her treatments. The foundation provides dress up and play to seriously ill patients at Dornbecker and Randall Children's Hospital. Each month we bring a rolling cart of brand new costumes up to the hospitals. The kids get to pick out one to keep, and then we have a costume parade and they do a craft with us. It gives these kids, most of whom have cancer, a chance to just be a kid and forget about the IVs and the chemo and the sickness. For many of them, it's the highlight of their week, and we've been told that some kids will schedule their treatments around our visits. It helps their parents as well, being able to see their child smile for maybe the first time in weeks. I'm so appreciative to be able to share some happiness with these kids. You can't help but be in awe of them, fighting huge battles but smiling along the way. I also helped start Liam's $6 Club at my school. Liam was a student at Edie Ridge who started kindergarten while fighting brain cancer. His family was asked to attend the annual fundraising ball for Dornbecker after undergoing his 3rd brain surgery. When asking his parents what the event was for, they explained that it was to raise money for his hospital. He then went to his room and came back with his life savings, $6, in a Ziploc. He said he wanted to donate $6 because he was 6. When his parents explained the donation at the ball, where people were donating thousands, someone in the audience yelled out that they wanted to add $6 to their donation. That caught on like wildfire, and it was decided that everyone that night would add $6 to their donation, and Liam's $6 Club was born. Dornbecker established it as a place to donate money specifically for pediatric brain cancer research. Liam's parents know that his outcome would have been much different had it not been for research. Today, that picture, there's Liam today, is a happy, healthy, extremely bright 8th grader with 0 effects from his brain cancer and brain surgeries. You can see how big that tumor was in that picture. When I heard about the Dornbecker Ball and the creation of Liam's, $6 Club, I knew our school needed to be a part of it. I gathered with a few other staff members, Anasa included, and we planned out a super fun campaign where kids got to pay to wear dress-up clothes to support healthy living. So they could pay 60 cents and wear whatever we had decided that day. So maybe wacky clothes because sometimes you need to smile, or sunglasses to shade out cancer. We encouraged everyone to donate $6, or if they couldn't do that, 6 of something. So 6 dimes or 6 pennies. We also encouraged them to find creative ways to make money, such as holding a lemonade stand or a bake sale, or doing chores for someone. Our goal that year was $3,000, which was $6 per student. We thought it was pretty lofty because we were only in our 2nd year at the school, we didn't know, and we ended up raising over $11,000. It was an incredible experience for me, our staff and students, and most importantly, Liam and his family. We've been raising money for Liam's $6 Club every year since, and to date, in 8 years, our little school in Sherwood has donated over $50,000 to brain cancer research. Being a part of Liam's Club connected me with Kids Making Miracles. Any school who raises money for Dornbecker is considered part of Kids Making Miracles. And every year, all the schools get to celebrate all the money raised. They also have a council made up of high school leaders, and I was able to sit on the council as an adult advisor for many years, helping the high schoolers come up with ways to get more schools involved with raising money for Dornbecker. It's incredibly rewarding to see the kids doing the work and coming up with the ideas. I'm positive many of my former students will be those kids someday, or are those kids already. Maybe your kids will be too, moral leaders in the making. The Oregon Food Bank is another one of my favorite places to volunteer. And several years ago, I thought it would be a good opportunity for our 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade students to volunteer there. I created an application where they wrote why they wanted to volunteer at the food bank, and we took a few kids from each class to go work with us. We always film the trip and make a fun video, utilizing high schoolers that know how to do all that. And we share it with the school to kick off the annual food drive. The kids really enjoy working at the food bank, and they realize just how much fun doing good can be. 6 years ago, I was able to join the Sherwood High School Arrows dance team staff as a volunteer team manager. I do behind the scenes work, help organize a large competition we put on, plan service projects, and cheer them on whenever I can. I believe part of being a moral leader is finding something you're passionate about, and for me, that was dance team. Being a part of the Arrows combines my passion for dance as well as my passion for kids. Like so many of you, I'm a sucker for helping kids. It's in my DNA. If there's a cause out there that needs support, awareness, or fundraising, you can usually count on me to be there. I also know that my friends, many of you, feel the same way I do, so when I hear of opportunities, I try to share them with others because my circle is full of moral leaders. I'd like to encourage each of you to spend time thinking about what you're really passionate about, what drives you and gets you excited and motivated. Take some time to consider how that passion could be channeled into something that could ultimately provide more goodness in the world. I began today by saying I was going to talk about love, loss, and leadership. a love of Linfield, a loss that inspired me to do more, and my commitment to nurturing an ethic of moral leadership in my students and in myself. Each of these branches on my oak tree have helped shape me from the tiny acorn into a still growing oak. Thank you again to Linfield for inspiring me to become who I am today, and thank you so much for this honor. I also want to thank everyone here for being a moral leader in your own way. Finally, to all my friends and family, thank you for always helping me be my best self.